You have to understand about Jeter. I mean, there was one time that the New Jersey Jets, the New Jersey Nets were playing in Boston on a weekend when the Red Sox were playing the Yankees on a Sunday night game, and Jason Kidd was hanging around the batting cage, so he asked me what I was staring at. I said, I just love to watch Derek Jeter take ground balls because he takes them all perfectly. He never fools around. Everything is very serious to him. And so Jeter came around. Kidd walked over to him and said, "Do you ever just fool around with a ground ball?" Derek looked at him, so I make 57 errors in the minor leagues. I can make 57 errors again. And just walked away from him like, "You're an idiot." So there had been a time in summer when I said, when you go like 4 or 5 games and you're not swinging the bat very well, what do you do differently in batting practice? And Jeter looked at me and he said, "I have never taken batting practice differently any time in my life." And to make his point during the playoffs, he walked up and handed me his bat. And he said, and to make my point even further, I would like to say, this is the model bat that they gave me the day I reported to rookie ball when I was 17 years old. I had never used a bat half an ounce heavier, half an ounce lighter. This is what I do. I do the same thing every single day. And he hit that home run that night in September off show. And so I had to do a little interview for ESPN afterwards, and the camera was a little bit late. Usually, guys are running off the field and trying to do, 3 questions and out, and let them get in, and they were going to go on the road. It was typical Jeter. Don't worry, we're not getting out of here for an hour, so don't worry. So the cameraman got there, but as he was coming over, I said, when it gets really cold, and it was really cold that night, it is so great to watch the Yankees play the Red Sox because of the intensity and the history. And he put his arm around me and he said, "Let me tell you something. You think it's great to watch? Just think how great it is to play." And I wish someday you could have had that experience. But you know what? That's what I've always wanted in an athlete. To think of that. Now I've had a great life covering baseball. I've had people that have been my favorites. Obviously, Don Mattingly is my favorite player I've ever played. One of my other favorites that encompassed everything I believe in is George Brett. Right in his last year before he was trying to get his 3,000th hit, I was out in Kansas City interviewing him, and I said, "George, how would you like your career to end? What do you want to happen in your last at-bat?" And he said, "I want to hit a ground ball to second base, bust my tail down the line, and be out by that much." And that's, I think, would define my career. As Fay would have it in his in the 9th inning of what was the last game of the season, ground ball to second base, exactly that. Was out by that much. Unfortunately, the California reliever blew the game, and Brett's last at bat, he ended up with a double, so that was I do, for a couple of teams, I go and talk to their rookie development program people and talk to them about values of the game. And one of my favorite stories is always about Robin Young. And I have a very good friend, named Gordon Lakey, who was a scout for many years, and he covered he had in a 5-year period over 100 Robin Young games when Robin played for Milwaukee. Gordon is slightly type A, and he kept the times on every player that he ever covered to first base. And in 104 games that he covered Robin Young, which is probably 4 bats a game, the fastest he ever got Robin Young to first base was 3.9 seconds. The slowest he ever got Robin Young to first base was 4.0 seconds, which tells you that he was exactly who Robin Young was. He played at that level, ran exactly the same. He hit a hard ground ball to short, hit a base hit up the alley, whatever he did, it was the right way to play. And Robin's one of those people that has made my 35 years in the game so much fun. And we had one this summer that was a great. Mike Lowell's, I think everybody here knows, is one of the really great people that has played. And I think some of you in the room probably know a guy named Jim Butcher from around Worcester. Daughter Courtney died in an automobile accident in late April. And her favorite player was Mike Lowell. She was killed on Friday night. She was to be buried on Tuesday. And on Sunday night, Jim Butcher took his two boys to the Red Sox-Yankee game on Sunday night, and that was the night that the Red Sox hit the 4 consecutive home runs, and Lowell hit the 4th one, and as fate would have it, it went right basically above the seat that Courtney would have been, where she would have been sitting in the monster seats in left field. And someone contacted Sarah Stevenson from the Red Sox about, could possibly have Mike Lowell sign a uniform for the wake. So Lowell signed the uniform and signed on it, may God be with you, Courtney, rest in peace. I will hit a home run. And sure enough, that Tuesday night, he did hit a home run. And for those people who can't imagine what it means, that the Butcher family, to say the least, is forever indebted to a very small action that a person can make. I called him. The Red Sox were in Texas. And I called Mike about it, and he went, "It's not worth writing about, it's not worth talking about." I said, "Well, it kind of is. I mean, I have friends at the gym here on the Cape that, his brother, Jim Butcher's brother-in-law and his wife are friends of mine, and it means a great deal to them." And he said, "You know what, you and at least 50 million other people in this country would have done the same thing. That's what people are supposed to do, that's what they do. And so therefore, it's not worth talking about." I know a lot of you, you think athletes, money, but my experience is that 95% of the people I've known over in my years have been pretty extraordinary people. And it's not only walking around in a small town in the Dominican Republic with Pedro Martinez, looking at the 2 churches, the school, the daycare center, and the athletic centers that he built, all on his own money. I had an experience this spring with Torrey Hunter, where the Tampa Bay Devil Rays came to play the Twins. Torrey's a remarkable person from a very, very difficult background. And the Devil Rays, to say the least, had 3 or 4 young players who were troubled, I guess is the best way. B.J. Upton and Elijah Dukes and Delman Young. Torrey said, "Come on, let's go talk to these guys. They need to hear this." So he walked over, started talking, and Delman Young said, "Well, you really wouldn't understand. I haven't really been treated right." And and then Elijah Dukes, whose father's in prison for life for murder, said, "Well, yeah, I have a really tough background." And Torrey looked at them and he said, "No, I don't want to hear this." He said, I was in gang wars when I was in the 7th grade. I participated in drive-through shootings when I was in the 10th grade. My father stole my signing bonus and my first paycheck from the Twins for crack cocaine." He said, "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything that any of you guys have to say." He said, "My life in Pine Bluff, Arkansas was a lot worse than yours in Tampa, yours in LA, yours in Norfolk, Virginia. I don't want to hear about it." He said, "There are no excuses in our lives." And he just looked at this one guy, Elijah Dukes, and said, "If I hear any more whimpering out of you, I'm going to throw up," and just walked away. Those are the people that we deal with, and those are the people that help a lot of us get through life and make going to the ballpark and going to our jobs every day really a lot of fun. There are 2 things that I really learned in my time as I spent a month or so at home rehabbing and thinking about watching politics as much as I watch on MSNBC and occasionally getting in the car and listening to talk radio. And it's the 2 things I really decided was that things I want to focus on are what I'm for, not what I'm against, what I believe, and not what I fear. During the 2006 World Series, 4 months after I got sick, I got a call from a friend of mine who used to be a coach in both Bourne and in Falmouth, that his friend Joe Negro, who was a pretty good major league pitcher, won 200 games, had the exact same aneurysm that I had, and that he was in bad shape in Orlando. 2 days later, Negro died. Now, I had gotten to know his son Lance when he played for Orleans in the Cape League.